This incident involved a 70-year-old female patient found at home vomiting blood. This patient was a cancer patient, unsure exactly what kind of cancer she had and unsure what kind of downtime she had, but this was upgraded into an echo level call while en route. Squad 1, Car 3, and Squad 3 all responded. This could be the first analyzed rhythm. Something I always check for is if compressions were being done prior to the AD being placed, and we know that because we can see compressions being done here. This could be the first analyzed rhythm. Something that we want to remember is that as soon as you turn on the AD and you put the pads on, the first thing that the AD is going to want to do is analyze. So nice job in being prepared for that. Shout out to the team for taking about 1.5 seconds of getting back on the chest from the point that it says no shock advised to the first compression. So really nice job there. Obviously, somebody was hovering on the chest to minimize that time. So that's an excellent job. We want to keep that below 2 seconds. So nice job there. This is going to be the second analyzed rhythm. Still a non-shockable rhythm. It did take the team a little longer to get back on the chest from the point that it said no shock advised to getting onto the chest here. It took about 2.5 seconds. So still pretty good, but remember that we need to anticipate doing compressions as soon as it says no shock advised or as soon as it starts charging. 2.5 seconds isn't bad, so nice job there. This is going to be a part of the arrest where 32 compressions was started or shortly after it was started. So really quick, if you look up here, this green bar is the first 2-minute cycle of compressions, and you'll notice that there weren't any 32 compressions. That's pretty typically because as a team is putting the pads on and we get the first analyzed rhythm, it then takes a little bit of time to get the BVM out, O2, and everything else. And so around 2 minutes isn't terrible. I'd love to see that a little bit less, but I would imagine what happened was that they were probably ready for the 32 compressions before the 2 minutes were up, but because they were so close to the next analyzed rhythm, they decided to just do continuous. So nice job there. The reason I want to look at this snippet here of the cardiac arrest is this is actually ventilation. So I would imagine there's a ventilation here and ventilation here. And we remember we want 3 seconds for ventilation, and the person that's setting that 3-second timer is the one on the chest. So they do the 30, and then they do a quick 3-second timer, and then they go back on the chest. So they're the ones that are setting that 3 seconds. Here, this is quite a bit longer. This is around 4 to 5 seconds. And most ventilations were around this long. So that's obviously a lot longer than what we'd want. So just a general reminder for everyone, if you're on the chest and you're stopping for those 2 ventilations, you're only giving that ventilation person 3 seconds to put that in. And this is going to be the last analyzed rhythm. I'm not exactly sure what happened here. Nothing is really said in the EPCR, but as you can see, this is the third analyzed rhythm. So for some reason here, it noted that it was a non-shockable rhythm here, but it never said no shock advised. It doesn't say that until actually all the way over here, and compressions were started. So I'm not sure if somebody just jumped the gun on there because they thought they heard something or somebody had said something, but as you can see, compressions were put on there. Then they stopped. And when that happens, the AED is going to detect motion as it did right there, and it's going to extend how long we're going to be out that chest. So we really want to make sure that we're paying attention to that kind of stuff. So then they stopped and allowed the AED to continue to analyze. But again, they started compressions here before it actually said no shock advised. So again, somebody jumped the gun there. There's nothing in the EPCR that states why this happened or anything like that. So I'm not really sure. But again, I think this just highlights the importance of knowing your position and ensuring that everyone's on the same page, and also giving verbal reminders. The team leader should be saying, hey, hover on that chest, get ready to do 30 compressions at the onset of charging, or as soon as it says no shock advised. And that gives the person on the chest a kind of a landmark or reminder that, okay, yeah, as soon as it starts charging or as soon as it says no shock advised, I need to start compressions. And those two things are what they're going to be checking for, right? Those are the two things that they're going to be remembering in their brain as soon as it starts charging or as soon as it says no shock advised, that they're going to start compressions. This patient did achieve ROSC on scene, and the ACCD was placed on the patient prior to getting in the back of the ambulance in anticipation of possible re-arresting on the way to the hospital. PFD sent one firefighter in with ALS to assist with ACCD usage if needed, and probably ventilations as well. So this is going to be the ACCD data. What I want you guys to really focus on is the gray part here. And so something to note, we added a timer on the side of the ACCD, so that way we can keep up with the 2-minute cycles of compressions. And what's also important is that the person that's going into the hospital needs to be aware, and needs to be a confident enough person to be able to state when we need to stop compressions to check for a pulse, and also how long the pauses are going to be, which should be less than 10 seconds. So the first round of compressions, which is going to be this mark here, that's going to be the first round, was 7 minutes and 25 seconds of continuous compressions. It was followed by a 23-second pause right here. The second round of compressions with the ACCD was 4 minutes and 4 seconds, followed by a 17-second pause right there. And then the last round of compressions, I would imagine this is right before they called the patient to terminate resuscitation, was 6 minutes and 9 seconds. So again, this really just highlights the fact that we need to ensure that whoever's going to be writing down the hospital is aware of the time and is able to keep track of time, because obviously ALS is doing other things and they may not be able to do that. And we do a pretty good job of keeping track of time on scenes. We need to be able to do that on the way to the hospital as well. That's BLS care. Let's focus on that BLS care so that we can make ALS successful in their care as well.